You gotta overcome something in order to be considered an overcomer. Turn me up, Gunny. You gotta slay a giant in order to be considered a giant slayer. Turn me up, Gunny. You gotta walk on water in order to be considered a water walker. You gotta walk by faith in order to be considered a believer. Faith, battle, glory. Faith, battle, glory. In that order, if you got faith, prepare for the smoke. And once you overcome the smoke, prepare for glory. But you can't be an overcomer. You can't walk into your destiny. You can't be a conqueror if you ain't prepared to conquer. How you gonna be more than a conqueror if you ain't willing to slay no giants? If you ain't willing to move no mountains? If you ain't willing to make the impossible possible? How you gonna be considered a conqueror if you ain't willing to trust in my dog and believe that all things are possible to him that believe? How you gonna be considered a conqueror? How you gonna be considered a dog if you ain't willing to go to war? How you gonna be considered a warrior if you ain't willing to fight for something? If you ain't willing to die for something? If you ain't willing to put your life on the line? How you gonna be considered great if you ain't willing to die for greatness? If you ain't willing to fight for a purpose bigger than you? Do you understand? In order to be great, you gotta slay great. You gotta walk through uncharted territory. You gotta walk by faith, not by sight. You gotta be willing to walk through the valley. You gotta be willing to walk through something to get to something. Big dog.